Ejiro was only 12 when she left her small village in Delta State for boarding school in the city of Asaba. Bright-eyed and eager, she was determined to make her parents proud. Her father, a trader, and her mother, a seamstress, had saved every naira they could to send their firstborn to one of the best schools in the region. The boarding school was a mix of excitement and fear. For a junior like Ejiro, navigating the strict rules and avoiding senior students' wrath required alliances. She found hers in Sandra, a confident and kind-hearted senior who quickly took her under her wing. Sandra became Ejiro's school mother, shielding her from bullying and guiding her through the challenges of boarding school life. "You'll be fine," Sandra would often say. "Just stick with me, and no one will dare harm you." Ejiro trusted her school mother completely, grateful for the protection and friendship she offered. On one fateful night, a very chilly evening, Sandra woke Ejiro from sleep. "Come with me," she whispered. "I need to show you something." "Where are we going?" Ejiro asked, rubbing her eyes. "You will see," Sandra replied, "but don't ask too much questions. Just trust me." Ejiro hesitated, but followed Sandra. They walked through the quiet dormitory and out to the back of the school's compound. Sandra led her to an old pear tree, its roots gnarled and its branches stretching out like skeletal arms. Around the base of the tree, a group of senior students stood in a circle, chanting softly. A small fire flickered at the center, its light casting eerie shadows. "What is this, Sandra?" Ejiro asked, fear creeping into her voice. "It's just a ceremony," Sandra said calmly. "It is for your protection. Boarding school can be dangerous, and this will ensure that no harm comes to you." Before Ejiro could respond, Sandra pulled her into the circle. The seniors marked her forehead with white chalk and began chanting. Ejiro felt her head grow heavy, her surroundings blurring. She saw flashes of light and heard a deep, resonant voice echoing in her mind. "You are mine," the voice said. A tall, good-looking man, dressed in fine white robes, appeared in her vision, his eyes glowing like embers. "From this day forward, you are my queen." Ejiro tried to scream, but her voice wouldn't come. The man placed a glowing necklace around her neck and smiled. Then everything went dark. When Ejiro woke up the next morning, she felt disorientated. The chalk marks were gone, but the memory of the man's voice lingered. Instinctively, she touched her neck, searching for the glowing chain that had been placed on her in the dream. It wasn't there, and she let out a sigh of relief. However, as she approached the small mirror hanging by her bunk, her breath caught. There, faint but unmistakably, was a mark around her neck, as if a chain has been etched into her skin. She tried to dismiss it as a strange dream, an overreactive imagination, but things quickly began to change. Ejiro began to have recurring dreams of the same man. In the visions, he would take her to an endless serene beach with soft golden sand that sparkled under the moonlight. The waves gently kissed the shore, and he would call her his queen, his voice deep and melodious. He showered her with golden gifts, necklaces, delicate anklets, and bracelets that seemed to hum with strange energy. He brushed her hair with a comb that glittered like diamonds, his touch gentle. Before she woke, he would kiss her feet softly, whispering words she couldn't fully understand, but felt deeply. At first, it felt strange and unsettling. She would wake confused, her heart racing, unsure of what to make of these vivid encounters. But as the dreams continued, her feelings began to shift. His tenderness, devotion, and the way he made her feel special began to fill a void in her heart. She started to look forward to the nights, to the moments they spent together on that mystical beach. The dreams became her escape, a place where she felt seen and cherished. "Never betray me," he would say, his glowing eyes locking with hers. "You are mine and mine alone." Although a part of her questioned the strange connection, another part welcomed and yearned for the warmth and affection he offered. She grew deeply attached to the man in her dreams. When Ejiro finished secondary school and gained admission into the university, she blossomed into a stunning young woman. Her beauty turned heads wherever she went, and she quickly became the center of attraction. Many men were drawn to her striking looks and calm demeanor, eager, seeking her affection. Yet she felt strangely detached, unable to feel genuine attraction towards them. By the time the man in white robes had become her spiritual husband, in their dream world, they shared a life together. Over the years, Ejiro bore him 2 children, beautiful light-skinned boys who carried his features and captivating charisma. She loved them deeply. In her dreams, they played together on sunlit beaches and lived in grand palaces adorned with gold. The connection she felt to this man and their Ejiro family overshadowed anything in her waking life. No boy in the university could compare to the man in her dreams. None possessed his beauty, his wealth, or his magnetic charm. He was everything that she could imagine in a partner, and she began to view the advances of her male peers as trivial. But then, right in her final year, Efe entered her life. Efe, the course representative, was intelligent, responsible, and always ready to lend a helping hand. He was known for his patience and resourcefulness, traits that made him popular amongst his classmates. When Ejiro struggled with a particular complex assignment, it was Efe who stepped in to assist her, patiently guiding her through. And after late-night study, Efe would walk her back to the hostel, sharing light-hearted conversations and campus jokes that made Ejiro smile. Efe was clearly smitten by Ejiro, and it showed in the small things that he did, carrying her books, saving her in the lectures, and checking in on her during busy weeks. Ejiro couldn't help but feel a growing sense of comfort and warmth around him. And for the first time in her life, she began to wonder what it would really be like to let someone from the waking world into her heart. On one fateful evening, after a long study section in the library, Efe offered to walk Ejiro back to the hostel, as he often did. When they arrived at the gates of the hostel, Efe lingered for a moment, his smile warm. "Good night, Ejiro. See you tomorrow," he said. And he smiled back, her heart unexpectedly light. As Efe turned to leave and cross the road, a motorcycle sped around the corner. It was too sudden, too fast for him to react. The impact sent him crashing to the ground, and in an instant, Efe lay motionless. Screams erupted as students gathered around, but Ejiro stood frozen. The world saw it as a tragic accident, but deep down, Ejiro knew the truth. This wasn't an accident. It was something else. That night, as she laid in her bed, her tears soaking her pillow, she drifted into her sleep, desperate for answers. In her dream, she found herself back in the gilded palace of her spiritual husband. The man stood before her, his piercing eyes watching her every move. "What have you done?" she cried, her voice breaking. "I warned you," he said, his deep voice echoing in the vast hall. "You are mine and mine alone." Ejiro fell to her knees, sobbing uncontrollably. She pleaded, "I just wanted to live a normal life." "You have a life," he replied, "and it is with me." Until Ejiro graduated, she kept her distance from everyone, refusing to let any man get close to her, terrified of what might happen if she did. Yet beneath her sadness, a spark of defiance began to grow, a quiet determination that one day she would find a way to break free. Ejiro graduated with honors and secured a high-paying job at an insurance firm in Lagos State. She had beauty, intelligence, and financial independence. But one thing was missing. By the time she turned 37, her parents' concern had grown into quiet desperation. Ejiro's mother would say, "Ejiro, you have done well for yourself, my child, but a woman is not complete without the family. When will you bring a man home?" Ejiro would smile and change the subject, but the pressure weighed heavily on her. Determined to break free from the invisible chains that bound her, she decided to try again. Her first serious relationship was with Ovie, a very wealthy entrepreneur. Ejiro allowed herself to hope, and for a while, things seemed promising. Ovie showered her with attention and gifts, and they began making wedding arrangements. But suddenly, his fortune began to dwindle. Deals that once brought in millions fell through, and his businesses started failing inexplicably. He grew frustrated and distant, and before long, their relationship came to a dead end. Ejiro tried again. This time, she met Kelvin, a charming banker who seemed like the perfect match. He was attentive and caring, and Ejiro felt herself beginning to relax. But after a few months of courtship, Kelvin suddenly grew cold. He stopped calling, and he ignored her messages and avoided her completely. Heartbroken and dejected, Ejiro knew that it wasn't a coincidence. Her heartbreak deepened when the familiar figure of her spiritual husband appeared in her dreams. "You are mine," he declared. "No man will take you from me." Haunted and determined for freedom, Ejiro knew that she could no longer avoid confronting the unseen force controlling her life. Ejiro finally broke down and confided in her mother. Through tears, she revealed the haunting events that began at the boarding school over 25 years ago, and the spiritual husband who had ruled her life ever since. Her mother, shocked but determined, wasted no time. She grabbed Ejiro by the hand and took her to a powerful man of God, renowned for his ability to confront dark forces. The deliverance section was intense, and as the pastor prayed fervently, Ejiro fell to the ground, convulsing as though an invisible force was dragging her away. It felt as if two opposing energies were battling over her soul. She screamed, her body trembling violently. Hours passed in a relentless spiritual warfare. The room was thick with tension. As the pastor continued to pray with determination, suddenly a chill swept through the room, and Ejiro's body went limp. She felt an unusual lightness, a peace that she hadn't known in decades. Reaching for her neck, she realized that the magna that had been there since that fateful night was gone. She bursted into tears, overwhelmed by the freedom that she thought she would never experience. At the age of 41, Ejiro's life took a new turn. She met Paul, a kind and God-fearing man who was completely different from anyone in a way that she could not explain. Unlike her previous experiences, there were no lingering fears, setbacks, or heartbreaks. Their love blossomed naturally, untainted by the shadows of her past. 6 months later, they married in a joyful ceremony, surrounded by friends and families. And soon after, Ejiro and Paul were blessed with 2 beautiful children, a son and a daughter, finally free from the chains that had bound her. Ejiro lived a life of peace, love, and fulfillment. Her story serving as a powerful reminder of the triumph of light over darkness. Not everyone who protects you has pure intentions. Spiritual decisions made in ignorance can affect an entire lifetime. Unseen bonds can manifest as real-world struggles. Silence allows bondage to grow stronger. True freedom begins when the truth is revealed. And light is always stronger than darkness, no matter how long the night lasts. What has the story taught you? Please share down in the comment section. So story lovers, we have come to the end of today's story. And if you are new here or you're watching us for the first time, or if you've been watching without subscribing, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button, share, comment, like our videos, watch our previous videos also, and don't forget to stay tuned because this is Tale Time with Udoka. See you in our next video and bye for now.